Nuggets hold a press conference for David Adelman and Josh Kroenke. Plus, did Calvin Booth sabotage the Nuggets? Let's find out. You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. Let's get it. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So first things first is that David Adelman and Josh Kroenke had a little press conference yesterday, and after that press conference, I actually started to feel a little bit better of their choice to go with David Adelman. I know a lot of people are still kind of upset over the season, have maybe his coaching choices in the playoffs, but we got to remember one thing. There wasn't a lot of expectation for the Nuggets to go very far under a new head coach. Many of the media already thought that the Nuggets were going to be tanked after they fired Coach Malone. And yet, David Adelman showed that no, he took them to a 2-game sevens and one that was against the best team in the league. And we almost eliminated them. We should have eliminated them. And yet, all the facts were laid out, afterwards, of just how beaten and bruised that team was, and they weren't able to complete it. But when you look at those on paper, we should be in the Western Conference Finals right now, and also headed to the actual finals. But regardless of that, also a lot of people have been complaining about the Nuggets running it back. And I have a few thoughts on this. Okay, just bear with me here. So I understand the frustration of the idea of them running back the complete roster. The reality, they aren't. Everyone can calm down. They aren't running back the same team that they did last season. Now, hear me out before you start chiming and chirping and everything. One thing is for sure. There are going to be different bench players. They will make some moves. If they weren't going to make some moves and they were going to run it back 100%, it would be a little bit foolish. But I don't honestly think that they are going to run it back 100%. I don't think Dario Saric is going to be playing next season on the Nuggets. One way or another, he is going to be off the team by summer training camp. Or not summer training, but training camp in September. The other thing is whether or not Westbrook is going to continue to sign his vet minimum. He's basically playing for peanuts right now for the Nuggets when he could be getting paid a lot more. So will he continue to do that? That's completely up to him. If he doesn't, then already you're with a completely different bench without Westbrook. And a lot of haters on the Westbrook, I get, he is a roller coaster of emotions. But one thing that he brings that is so critical that I don't know who else you could bring in right now under the budget of the Nuggets that could give the Nuggets the same spark, the same energy levels that Brody makes. Like, short of Brucey B, no one has brought that kind of intensity since then. I mean, you also had KCP helping a lot, but he was helping more on the defensive levels. Like, the level of energy and intensity that Brody brings to the Nuggets is near unmatched, especially for the rate that you're paying him at. So he is still very critical to this team's success. And so I want to see him back on the Nuggets. 100% I want to see him back on the Nuggets. The other thing is, when you look at our starters, now I do think it is highly likely that our starters will be run back. But a lot of people are dismissing a lot of issues with the starters. And let's just call it out right now. One, the starters are one of the best starting five groups in the NBA. Like, that is been talked about even through the media. Everyone agrees this is one of the best starting 5 groups. Unfortunately, they have a lot of personal shit going on right now. You have MPJ, I'm just setting aside the health issues, just personally with his 2 brothers, you have so much shit going on with that. So, of course, he's trying to stay focused on basketball, on his job. But if you have ever had any issues outside of your workspace, you will know it is incredibly difficult to just focus only and solely on your job. And it does affect the way you do your job. So you have to give some leniency to him. Now, Jamal Murray is a different aspect. I did kind of see a little bit of lack of interest in playing in the beginning of the year. If anyone remembers, him going to a UFC game before a Grizzlies matchup. And then I'm hearing words of he was at Blackhawk Casino the day or the night after the Flu Arrow game, Game 6. If that is true, I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed that Murray does that. I think I understand he needs some time to kind of for mental health and whatever, but you have to stay locked in. So I don't give him any slack for that, but I do think he is very needed for the Nuggets with the style of play. He also, I don't know a lot of teams that would take him and Michael Porter Jr. right now. You might have 4 or 5, but are they the right ones that you want to do deals with right now? Like, so many people throw their insight or their takes of what they should do or whatever. And yeah, if you had a genie wish lamp and everything, and you could just wish, I want this person, yeah, you could make those. But you keep on forgetting that, one, there's a CBA involved that is just critical, or it hurts a lot of teams, just about every single team. And then you have the overall budgets. Can they afford these things? And then 2 or 3, I should say, do those players actually work within the system that the Nuggets are playing? Now, I saw during the press conference with David Adelman and Josh Conkey there was a lot of negativity. Just one. I just don't need to call that out. There was a shit ton of negativity. It was primarily from bandwagon Nugget fans who just got on during the chip era, saw some stuff with Jokic, really liked what he did, so they kind of gravitated to what the Nuggets are doing. And they also all of a sudden started to act as if it was their team. The fuck it's not. It is not your fucking team. I want to say that right now. Bandwagon fans, this is not your team. This is Denver's team, and any other Nugget fan out around the globe who actually has been following the Nuggets a lot longer and has more passion for the team itself rather than just Jokic. We all love Jokic, but do you love the rest of the team? Those are the people who this team is for. So that I just want to get out there. 2, then there was also OKC fans throwing in their negative shit against the Nuggets for some reason. Like, they still aren't over the battle with us. It's like we're renting free room in their heads right now, even after round 2. Like, we definitely got to OKC for sure. Granted, they also got to us, but we're out. They're still in, and they're still thinking about us. That says something. But the thing I always that I've seen a lot of is that the Nuggets need an all-star to go along with Jokic. That it's embarrassing that they haven't had an all-star in 10 years to play with Jokic. And I wanted to squash that right now. It doesn't matter that there's an all-star with Jokic. It doesn't matter, okay? And I'm going to give you some key examples that you cannot argue with. Number 1, Phoenix Suns. If you have no other examples other than one, that is the primary example of a loaded roster that didn't even make the playoffs. You had not 2, but 3 All-Stars. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. And where'd they go? They went to Cancun before the playoffs even started. So don't come at any of this Nugget stuff saying that, oh, Jokic needs an all-star alongside him, because I'm not buying it. If you want more examples, okay, then Milwaukee. Milwaukee has Giannis and Dame, 2 all-stars. Where'd they go? They got kicked out of the first round, okay? Having all-stars play with all-stars isn't the solution. And if that's all you think is the solution, then you don't understand basketball. You don't understand team sports. This isn't 2K where you can just have players play with each other and they know what to do. This is real life where players actually have to have understanding of how the other ones play. That is why this starting 5 right now is so critical, because they know how each of them works, how they think, how they tick, what the issues are that they can do. And that's where you get Jokic throwing a no-look pass behind him before Aaron Gordon even is there, only to eventually catch it right when he gets to that spot. That doesn't happen unless you've had years perfecting it. If you now change it up, like talk about wasting Jokic's years, if you switch up that starting 5 right now, you will definitely be ruining his years. 100% you'll be ruining his years. So the starting 5 is not the issue. The starting 5 needs to continue. It's the bench that needs to be built, okay? So then, and plus, I mean, I can go down the list too of so many other teams that have multiple all-stars. Case in point, Lakers. LeBron and Luka. They were supposed to be the mega team coming out. And where'd they go? They were exited on round 1 too. So I really do not buy this whole, oh, he needs an all-star to play with. Jamal Murray is of all-star caliber when he wants to be. And he is definitely all-star caliber when he's in the playoffs. Aaron Gordon, if he hadn't been hurt this season, he would have been all-star quality. I 100% believe he would have been the Jokic's first teammate to go to the All-Stars. I mean, these are good basketball players, and that's why they are in the starting lineup. So I don't believe that we need a switch up in the starting lineup. They just need a little bit of incentive or motivation, right? And that's where David Adelman's coaching is really going to come into play here. Is he going to hold Jamal Murray to the fire of getting in shape? Same thing with Michael Porter Jr. Is he healing? Is he making sure that he's working on the things he needs to work on? I think you can pretty much bet that Aaron Gordon is going to be working on getting even better than he was this past season. Same thing with Christian Brown, Jokic. But then you move to the bench. And those are players that you definitely need to basically micromanage almost to a point. Like Pitt Watson needs to build muscle. We all know that. He needs to build muscle. Julian Strother needs to build muscle. They both need to build up consistency. And then you have all the rest of the bench: Zeke Naji, Pickett, Hunter Tyson. Is Trey Alexander going to actually be a Nugget next year? We don't know, And then another key element too that a lot of people are forgetting: he's going to be back. DeRon Holmes didn't even get to play his rookie year, but they did so much to try to get him, and I definitely believe he will have an impact on this team when he plays. So this is not going to be the same team as last season, I guarantee you. So you can all rest assured, stop the whole Nuggets are idiots for running it back. They're not running it back. It's completely different, and even to the point of the Nuggets have a new head coach. Malone is not the coach anymore. Having David Adelman in the seat is going to be a different approach at not too different that it is tricky for them to understand, but it's going to be slightly different than what they've been doing. And we also have to remember this. The players love David Adelman, and they listen to him. They seem to stop listening to Malone, right? So I'm actually excited to see this new but similar Nuggets attack it again. And then the Nuggets will make moves this offseason. You just have to understand they will. Don't think they won't. Of course, they're going to make some moves. It'll be more minor moves that you think that aren't really big moves, but they could end up being bigger in the long run. Don't think the entire team is going to be the same as last year. They haven't hinted at changes happening. Plus, we will now see what the Nuggets do without being coached with Malone for the actual season, right? So this is what I'm saying. Adelman is going to bring a different approach to it. And then you also have to understand just how far along this team went. Like, you look at the coaching aspect of it. Yeah, they lost their coach. 3 games left in the regular season. They lost their coach. A new coach came in. They pushed forward. Like, the majority of the playoffs was the players themselves communicating with one another. Primarily Jokic coaching that team. Yes, Adelman, was the one that was the face of the coaching, but we all know Jokic was the real coach there. And so when you actually now start to work on that aspect and you build it up, I guarantee you they're going to go a lot further in the playoffs than they did this year. I mean, you also look at the fact that they brought the best team to 7 games. Who else did that? T-Wolves didn't do it, that's for sure. We just saw that the OKC is now advancing to the finals. Okay, and the Timberwolves got a gentleman's sweep a second year in a row in the Western Conference Finals. So, and that also kind of annoys me because the Timberwolves fans are all talk. They think that they have the best team in the NBA, and then now several years they have been exits. I know they got a lot farther than we did, but hey, at least we took OKC to 7 games. Timberwolves couldn't even get that done. They couldn't win more than 1 game. Yeah, they definitely gave OKC the worst beating in that 1 game that they received the entire season. But that was just 1 game, and that didn't do anything. That just angered them even more to win 2 in a row after that. So the Nuggets brought OKC to 7 games, and they brought OKC to 7 games without their head coach, an interim head coach. You had 3 guys beaten up. You had, again, MPJ with his shoulder and his leg issues. You had Aaron Gordon with his calf and his hamstring issue. You had Russell Westbrook, 2 breaks in his hand, and he still played. Like, I know we were all angry and upset with Westbrook, and maybe he shouldn't have played, but you got to give him credit, He wanted to help his team. He wanted to be out there. So, like, that's actually more admirable and respectable than to just, ditch the team. Like, he wanted to be at same thing with Aaron Gordon. They gave it their all. And if you hadn't have had them play, who are you going to have them play? Who's going to play in their spots? Like, would you feel more comfortable having Pickett in Westbrook's spot and Zeke in Aaron Gordon's spot? Then you'd all be complaining that they were subbed in. So, I mean, you have to give this team credit as far as they went, as beaten up as they were. Like, and then plus, Jokic still with the elbow issues. So you come back, and also he had back issues too. So you come back with that same core approaching next season. As long as they stay healthy, that's the big if. As long as they stay healthy, I don't think there's any reason to freak out right now about next season for Jokic. I think it's going to be just fine right now. I want to bring up the issue or the question that the little thought bubble for us to think about. Booth had mentioned he was focused on the team being good for many years. So was Booth actually more concerned about his own legacy than he was about Jokic's time as a player? Did Booth sabotage the Nuggets? Let me know in the comments what you think. I personally think Booth sabotaged the Nuggets. I think he was focused on his own personal legacy and that he didn't care about Jokic's time. So everyone complaining about the Nuggets not caring about Jokic's time, I think the Nuggets definitely 100% did care. I'd think that it was Booth that didn't care. I think Booth was trying to approach it in a way that they would be a good team for a long time down the road rather than a great team in a small amount a window. As many of us are talking about the Nuggets wasting Jokic's time, Booth was the primary offender of this. He clearly didn't care about Jokic's years. So I think that's an interesting topic to talk about, how Booth basically sabotaged. I mean, you also, like, already last season when there was already a disconnect between him and Malone, and you can 100% give, call out Malone a little bit too. He was definitely feeling a little bit arrogant that he had just won a championship, that he's the reason why they won a championship. So why should he have to listen to anyone on top? Because he knows how to make this team win. So there's definitely some errors on both sides here. But as soon as Booth saw that Malone wasn't going to listen to him, Booth should have pivoted to just make sure that Malone is geared up with the tools that he needs to get a successful season under their belts. Like, it's this whole, like, the team only wins when the team works together. If you're thinking about it, no, we have to do it my way. No, it's my way, not your way. It's definitely not your way. It's my way kind of approach. Then no one wins at the end. And that's exactly what happened 2 years in a row now since the championship. So, like, that was the big issue. He should have pivoted, and he should have basically held back that ego and not fought Malone. And I know Malone's might be a pill, but give him what he wants so that the guys can win. And Malone and Booth didn't do that. And instead, Booth kept on pressing his vision of the Nuggets and enforcing that. And it was basically beating against a wall that it came back and it destroyed everything. So, and then again, like I said, like, if he's so focused on the future of the Nuggets, he's not focused on the current Nuggets and Jokic, his time window. And that's why I really think that Booth was, not only he sabotaged the Nuggets, but he also sabotaged some of these years with Jokic. And he's the case in point of kind of how this whole phenomenal Jokic season did not culminate to a championship win. I think that is Booth, and that is 100% fair to give all of your hate and your frustrations and everything to Booth. Give it to Booth. Maybe a little bit to Malone, but those guys. We already know who the Cronkies are. They're cheap. I've already said this on my past episode. They're cheap. Yeah, we understand, but Booth was the one that they gave the power to make these drafting calls and everything that the Nuggets needed to do during the trade deadlines and everything. So I blame Booth right now because I know what I'm getting with the Cronkies, but Booth should have been more of a team player, and he wasn't. So. And then going back, so OKC advances to the finals for the first time since 2012, and OKC feels like they are the best team. They're all chirping, they're having fun, even though there's nothing to do in Oklahoma. That's their claim to fame right now, is that that crazy team that is just I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. I can't get behind. They are so arrogant. If you want to know why not a lot of people like your team, OKC, it's because you guys are so arrogant. No one likes the little full team interviews, everyone standing around one guy. I saw that OKC posted on their Instagram or their social media saying that SGA is MVP times 2. No, he's not. He got a conference finals MVP, but the actual MVP award, he only has 1. Jokic has 3. Don't even try to loop him into the same category as Jokic. I want to get that out right now too. So now let's just move on real quick before we wrap this all up, is that the Knicks are in trouble. They should have evened up this series with the Pacers, and yet the Pacers won again. And so now we're looking at an elimination game today. And hopefully the Knicks can win. I would love for Pacers to give us just 3 more games. Please, Pacers, just give us 3 more games. Because that means that we have 3 more games of Inside the NBA, and I love that show. I just love watching those guys. If tonight is the final night, I'm not ready for it. Let's give us a couple more games, Pacers. Like, Knicks, you gotta win. You gotta win this one. For the rest of NBA right now, you gotta win this one. But as I've said before, whoever wins out of this, I'm rooting for either one of you to beat that damn OKC team. So, but that's pretty much all I got for right now. I know I'm sporting a Colorado Rockies shirt right now. I know they're a joke, but, still keeping hope alive, and I still support my team even though they're horrible. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe, share it out to your friends and family, and you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about sports with good vibes. We'll catch you later.